The sun rose over Earth like it did every day. People woke up, got ready for work, and sent their kids to school. It was a normal day. No one knew it would be the last normal day for a long, long time. In New York, Sarah hugged her son Tommy goodbye at the school gate. "Have a great day, sweetie," she said with a smile. Tommy waved and ran inside, his backpack bouncing as he went. In Tokyo, Hiroshi checked his watch. His daughter Yuki was late again. "Hurry up, Yuki," he called. "You'll miss the bus." Yuki ran out, grabbing a piece of toast on her way. "Bye, Dad," she yelled, dashing down the street. In Lagos, Adebayo walked his twins, Folake and Olumide, to their primary school. "Be good," he told them, straightening their uniforms one last time. The twins giggled and promised they would. All around the world, in big cities and small towns, millions of children went to school just like they always did. Their parents went to work, thinking about meetings and deadlines, and what to make for dinner. High above the Earth, hidden from human eyes, the Galactic Council was meeting. The Council ruled over thousands of alien races across the galaxy. Humans didn't know about them yet. The aliens in the Council looked very different from humans. Some had tentacles, others had wings. Some were as big as houses, others as small as mice. The leader of the Council, a tall blue alien named Zix, called the meeting to order. "We're here to talk about the humans," Zix said. The other aliens murmured and nodded. "Humans are developing too fast," said Krang, a red alien with 3 eyes. "They'll be a threat soon if we don't stop them." "But they're so young," said Blorp, a small green alien. "They haven't even left their solar system yet." "That's why we must act now," Zix said firmly, "before they become too strong." The Council argued for hours. Some wanted to leave humans alone. Others wanted to destroy Earth completely. In the end, they made a terrible choice. "We'll remove the children," Zix announced. "Without a new generation, humans will slowly die out." The Council voted. Most agreed with Zix. They thought they were being kind by not killing all the humans at once. They didn't understand how cruel their plan was. Back on Earth, it was lunchtime. In New York, Sarah was in a meeting when her phone buzzed. It was Tommy's school. She ignored it, thinking Tommy had probably just forgotten his lunch again. In Tokyo, Hiroshi was fixing a car at his garage when his phone rang. It was Yuki's school. He wiped his hands and answered, expecting to hear Yuki had gotten in trouble again. In Lagos, Adebayo was teaching a class when another teacher came to the door. "It's about your children," the teacher said, looking worried. All around the world, parents got calls and messages about their kids. At first, they were confused, then worried, then terrified. Something was very wrong. In every school, in every daycare, in every place where children gathered, something impossible was happening. Children were disappearing. Not running away, not hiding. Just gone. 1 second they were there, the next they weren't. Tommy vanished while playing soccer with his friends. The ball he kicked rolled to a stop, but Tommy was nowhere to be seen. Yuki disappeared from her desk in the middle of a math lesson. Her pencil clattered to the floor, the only sign she had ever been there. Folake and Olumide were gone in a blink during story time. The book they were sharing fell closed between their empty chairs. Panic spread like wildfire. Parents rushed to schools. Teachers were crying. Police were called. No one knew what to do. How do you find children who didn't run away, who weren't taken, who just stopped existing? Sarah ran into Tommy's school, calling his name. She searched every room, every closet, even looked in trash cans. But Tommy was gone. Hiroshi broke every traffic law driving to Yuki's school. He demanded to see security camera footage. But the videos just showed Yuki there 1 second, gone the next. Adebayo held onto his twin school bags, refusing to believe they were really gone. He organized a search party, refusing to give up hope. As the day went on, the horrible truth became clear. It wasn't just a few children. It wasn't just one city or one country. Every child on Earth under the age of 18 had vanished at the exact same moment. Billions of children. Gone. The world stopped. Everything stopped. Work, school, travel, everything. People gathered in the streets, in churches, in temples. They cried together, prayed together, raged together. How could this happen? They asked. Why did this happen? Scientists were baffled. This broke every law of physics they knew. Religious leaders had no answers. This was beyond any prophecy or teaching. World leaders tried to calm people, but they were just as lost. How do you lead when the unthinkable has happened? As night fell, the first riots started. People were scared, angry, and wanted someone to blame. They attacked government buildings, thinking their leaders must be hiding something. In some places, people blamed other countries. Old hatreds flared up. The world teetered on the edge of war. But in most places, people came together. They shared their grief, held each other up. Strangers comforted each other in the streets. The whole human race was united in sorrow. Sarah ended up in a group with other parents from Tommy's school. They sat in the gym, surrounded by toys and school books that would never be used again. They shared stories about their children, laughed at happy memories, and cried together. Hiroshi found himself leading a group of people searching the city. They knew it was hopeless, but they couldn't just sit at home. Searching made them feel like they were doing something, anything. Adebayo organized a vigil in his neighborhood. People brought photos of their missing children, lit candles, and sang soft songs of mourning. As the night got darker, people started to notice something strange in the sky. The stars were moving. At first, they thought it was just satellites or planes, but there were too many, moving too fast. Then the ships appeared. Huge vessels, bigger than cities, filled the sky. They were every shape you could imagine, and some you couldn't. They glowed with strange lights and hummed with power beyond human understanding. For a moment, everything was silent. Humans stared up at the sky, too shocked to even be afraid. Then a voice boomed out, so loud it shook windows and set off car alarms. It spoke in every language at once, so everyone could understand. People of Earth, the voice said, we are the Galactic Council. We rule this galaxy. We have removed your children for the greater good of the galaxy. This is not negotiable. Do not resist. Accept your fate. The voice faded. The ships stayed, floating silently above every major city on Earth. For a few heartbeats, no one moved. No one spoke. The world held its breath. Then, like a dam breaking, noise erupted everywhere. People screamed, cried, raged. Some fell to their knees, broken by this final blow. Others stood tall, fists clenched, faces set in determination. In New York, Sarah stood up. Her face was wet with tears, but her eyes burned with a fierce light. They took our children, she said, her voice gaining strength. They took our future. We won't let them take our hope. In Tokyo, Hiroshi looked at the people around him. He saw the same fire in their eyes that he felt in his heart. We're not finished, he said. We're just getting started. In Lagos, Adebayo faced the crowd at the vigil. They think this will end us, he said. They're wrong. This is where we begin. All around the world, in big cities and small towns, under the watchful eyes of alien ships, humanity made a choice. They would not give up. They would not fade away. They would fight back. As the first light of a new day broke over the horizon, the world was forever changed. The day that started with the laughter of children ended with the birth of a resistance. The Galactic Council had made a terrible mistake. They thought they were ending humanity's story. They were only writing the first chapter. Badla Lin Ki Tayeri. 6 months had passed since the day the children vanished. The world had changed. The alien ships still hung in the sky, a constant reminder of humanity's loss and the power of the Galactic Council. But humans are tough. They don't give up easily. All over the world, People were getting ready to fight back. In New York, Sarah sat in a secret underground room. She wasn't alone. The room was full of people, all busy working on computers or talking in small groups. This was the headquarters of the New York Resistance. Sarah looked at a photo of Tommy on her desk. "We're coming for you, sweetie," she whispered. Then she turned to the others. "What's our progress?" she asked. A man named Mike stood up. He used to be a computer programmer. Now he was their tech expert. "We've cracked another piece of their communication code," he said. "We can understand about 30% of what they're saying now." Sarah nodded. It wasn't much, but it was progress. Every bit of information they could get about the aliens would help. In Tokyo, Hiroshi wiped sweat from his forehead. He was standing in a large warehouse. Around him, people were working on strange-looking machines. These weren't ordinary machines. They were weapons, built using bits and pieces of alien technology that had fallen from the ships. Hiroshi picked up what looked like a gun, but it wasn't like any gun humans had made before. It glowed with a soft blue light. "How's the testing going?" he asked a woman nearby. The woman, a former physicist named Akiko, grinned. "We've increased the power by 50%, she said. "One shot from this could take down a small alien ship." Hiroshi allowed himself a small smile. It wasn't much against the massive alien fleet, but it was a start. In Lagos, Ada Bayo stood in front of a large group of people. They were in an old school gym. The children's drawings still hung on the walls, a painful reminder of what they had lost. "We've all lost someone," Ada Bayo said, "but we can't let our grief destroy us. We need to use it. Let it fuel us. The aliens think we're weak. Let's show them how strong we really are." The crowd cheered. Among them were soldiers, scientists, teachers, and ordinary people, all united by one goal: to get their children back and make the aliens pay. All around the world, scenes like these were playing out. Humans were preparing for war. But it wasn't just about building weapons or decoding alien messages. They were changing how they lived, how they thought. Governments that used to fight each other now worked together. Old enemies became allies. The alien threat had united humanity like never before. But the aliens weren't idle. They watched from their ships, thinking they knew what the humans were doing. They saw the weapons being built, the armies training. They weren't worried. Their technology was far beyond anything humans could make. What they didn't see was what was happening in secret labs deep underground. In one of these labs, under the streets of London, a scientist named Emily made an exciting discovery. She had been studying a piece of alien technology that had fallen from one of the ships. "It's not just a machine," she told her team, her eyes shining with excitement. "It's alive. The aliens use living technology. That's why it's so advanced." This was huge news. If humans could understand this living technology, maybe they could use it themselves. Emily and her team worked day and night, trying to unlock its secrets. Meanwhile, in a hidden base in the mountains of Peru, a group of hackers made their own breakthrough. They had been working for months, trying to break into the aliens' computer systems. "We're in," shouted Maria, the lead hacker. Her fingers flew over the keyboard as she downloaded as much information as she could before the aliens noticed. The information they got was confusing. A lot of it was in languages they couldn't understand. But some of it was clear. The aliens hadn't just taken Earth's children. They had taken children from other planets too. This news spread quickly through the resistance network. It changed how they saw the fight. It wasn't just about Earth anymore. It was about standing up for all the races the Galactic Council had hurt. But preparing for war wasn't just about technology and information. It was about people too. All over the world, people were training. Soldiers taught civilians how to fight. Scientists taught people about alien technology. Everyone learned first aid, how to survive in tough conditions, how to resist alien mind control, just in case. Sarah in New York started a program to keep people's spirits up. They held weekly meetings where people could share their feelings, remember their lost children, and encourage each other to keep fighting. Hiroshi and Tokyo organized a system to distribute the new weapons they were making. It wasn't easy. They had to do everything in secret, always watching for alien spies or human traitors. Adebayo in Lagos focused on education. He believed that knowledge was power. He set up classes to teach people about space, aliens, and advanced technology. The more we understand them, he said, the better chance we have of beating them. As the months passed, the resistance grew stronger, but they knew they weren't ready yet. The aliens were still too powerful. Then, 1 year after the children disappeared, something changed. The alien ships started moving. Some of them left Earth, flying off into space. At first, people were excited. They thought the aliens were leaving. But Sarah and the other resistance leaders knew better. This was just the beginning. They're getting ready for something. Sarah told her team, "We need to be ready too." All around the world, the resistance went into high alert. They worked harder than ever, pushing themselves to the limit. In her lab in London, Emily finally had a breakthrough with the living technology. She managed to communicate with it. It was just in a very basic way, like talking to a young child. But it was a start. "It's not evil," she told her amazed team. "It doesn't want to hurt us. It's just following orders." This gave Emily an idea. If the alien technology wasn't naturally evil, maybe they could convince it to help them instead of the Galactic Council. In Peru, Maria and her hacker team made another important discovery. They found out where the alien ships were going. "They're gathering for something big," Maria reported. "Some kind of special event." The resistance leaders held an emergency meeting. They connected from all around the world, their faces serious on the video screens. "This is it," Sarah said. "Whatever they're planning, it's happening soon. We need to make our move." Hiroshi nodded. "Our weapons are ready. Not as many as we'd like, but they work. My people are trained and ready to fight." Adebayo added, "Just give the word." They made their plans. It would be risky. They might fail, but they had to try. For their children, for Earth, for all the other races suffering under the Galactic Council's rule. As the meeting ended, Sarah looked at the photo of Tommy again. "We're coming, sweetie," she said. "Just hold on a little longer." The next day, as the sun rose, the remaining alien ships suddenly came to life. They lit up with strange colors and started making a loud humming noise. People all over the world looked up, worried and excited. What was happening? In the resistance bases, alarms went off. This was it, the moment they had been preparing for. Sarah put on her combat gear, her hands shaking slightly, but her voice was strong as she addressed her team. "This is what we've been working for," she said. "Whatever happens today, remember why we're fighting. For our children, for our future." In Tokyo, Hiroshi handed out the new weapons to his team. "Remember your training," he said. "These aren't like normal guns. Respect their power." In Lagos, Adebayo led his people in a short prayer. "We may not all come back," he said, "but what we do today will be remembered forever." All around the world, the resistance got ready. This was the day they had been preparing for. The day they would take the fight to the aliens. As the alien ships began to move, forming strange patterns in the sky, humanity watched and waited. They were scared, yes, but they were also determined. Whatever the aliens were planning, they would face it together. The resistance teams moved into position. Emily with her living technology, Maria with her hacked information, and thousands of others, all playing their part. This was it, the start of the real battle. Humanity's chance to show the Galactic Council that taking their children was the biggest mistake they had ever made. As Sarah led her team out of their base, she looked up at the alien ships. "You wanted to end us," she said quietly. "Instead, you made us stronger than ever. And now we're coming for you." The battle for Earth, for the children, for the future of the galaxy, was about to begin. Jonko Aram. The sky was alive with light and sound. Alien ships moved in complex patterns, their hulls glowing with strange colors. On the ground, humans watched with a mix of fear and determination. This was the moment they had been preparing for. In New York, Sarah stood on top of a tall building, her team spread out around her. They all held the new weapons Hiroshi's team had made. Sarah's hand tightened on her gun as she watched the ships above. "Remember the plan," she said into her radio. "We wait for their first move. Then we show them what humans can do." In Tokyo, Hiroshi was in a hidden bunker, surrounded by screens showing views from all over the city. He could see the alien ships, but he could also see his teams in position, ready to fight. "All teams report in," he said. One by one, voices came over the radio, confirming they were ready. In Lagos, Adebayo led a group through the quiet streets. They moved silently, weapons ready. Every now and then, Adebayo would look up at the alien ships and narrow his eyes. "Stay focused," he told his team. "Remember your training. Remember why we fight." All around the world, similar scenes played out. Humans, once divided by borders and beliefs, now united against a common enemy. They were as ready as they could be. Suddenly, the humming from the alien ships got louder. Beams of light shot down from the ships, hitting the ground in major cities across the world. Where the beams touched, strange structures began to grow. They looked like towers, but they were alive, pulsing with energy. "This is it," Sarah shouted into her radio. "All teams, engage." The battle for Earth had begun. Sarah's team opened fire on the nearest alien structure. Their new weapons shot beams of energy that cut through the alien material like it was paper. The structure shuddered and began to collapse. In Tokyo, Hiroshi watched as his teams attacked the alien structures. "Good work," he said. "Keep pushing." But the aliens weren't going to give up easily. From their ships, they sent down troops. These weren't like any aliens humans had seen before. They were like living machines, their bodies a mix of metal and flesh. The alien troops moved fast, attacking human positions with advanced weapons. But humans had surprise on their side. The aliens didn't expect them to have weapons that could hurt them. In Lagos, Adebayo's team found themselves face to face with a group of alien troops. "Now," Adebayo shouted. His team fired their weapons, and the aliens fell back, clearly shocked. "They didn't think we could fight back," Adebayo said with a grim smile. "Let's show them how wrong they were." The battle raged on in cities across the world. Humans fought with everything they had, using their new weapons and their knowledge of their home turf. They had studied the aliens for months, and now all that preparation was paying off. But it wasn't just a physical battle. In her lab in London, Emily was fighting her own war. She was trying to communicate with the living technology of the alien structures. "Please," she said, her hands on a piece of alien tech. "We don't want to destroy you. Help us stop this war." To her amazement, the tech responded. It didn't use words, but Emily could feel its confusion, its desire to understand. "The Galactic Council is wrong," Emily said. "Taking children is evil. Help us save them." Slowly, the alien tech began to change. The structure it was part of stopped attacking and started to crumble. Meanwhile, in her hidden base in Peru, Maria and her team of hackers were launching their own attack. They had spent months breaking into the alien systems, and now they unleashed everything they had. "Virus uploaded," Maria said, her fingers flying over her keyboard. "Let's see how they like a taste of human ingenuity." All over the world, alien ships started to malfunction. Some lost power and fell from the sky. Others flew in circles, unable to attack. The human resistance was winning battles all over the world. But the war was far from over. The Galactic Council had vastly underestimated humanity, but they still had enormous power. From the biggest alien ship, high above the Earth, came a booming voice. It spoke in every language at once, just like before. "Humans," the voice said, "your resistance is impressive but futile. Surrender now, or we will be forced to take more drastic measures. Sarah, listening from her position in New York, laughed bitterly. More drastic than stealing all our children, she muttered. She picked up her radio. All teams, she said. You've heard their threat. Are we going to surrender? The answer came back loud and clear from all over the world. Never. The alien voice spoke again. Very well. You leave us no choice. The largest alien ship began to glow with a fierce light. Energy gathered around it, building to a crescendo. They're going to fire some kind of super weapon. Hiroshi shouted over the global resistance channel. Everyone, take cover. But before the alien ship could fire, something unexpected happened. Other ships in the alien fleet suddenly turned and opened fire on the largest ship. Confusion reigned, both among the humans and the aliens. What was happening? The answer came from Emily in London. It's working, she shouted excitedly. The living technology is rebelling. It understood us. All over the world, more and more alien ships and structures began to turn against the Galactic Council forces. The alien troops on the ground suddenly stopped fighting, looking as confused as the humans. In the skies above Earth, a massive battle was taking place between the alien ships. It was like nothing humans had ever seen before. Energy beams crisscrossed the sky. Explosions bloomed like deadly flowers. Keep fighting, Sarah urged her teams. This is our chance. Humans pressed their advantage, taking out the alien forces that were still fighting while they were distracted by the rebellion in their ranks. In Lagos, Adebayo led a charge against a group of alien troops. But instead of fighting, the aliens threw down their weapons. We surrender, one of them said in broken English. No more fight. No more taking children. Similar scenes played out all over the world. More and more alien forces were giving up or joining the rebellion against the Galactic Council. In Peru, Maria and her team worked frantically to take advantage of the chaos. They dug deeper into the alien systems, looking for any information about the missing children. I found something, Maria shouted suddenly. Coordinates. I think this is where they took the children. This news spread like wildfire through the resistance. They had a goal now, a target. But how could they reach it? The coordinates Maria found were somewhere in deep space, far beyond Earth. The answer came from an unexpected source. One of the alien ships that had rebelled landed near Sarah's position in New York. A hatch opened, and an alien emerged, its hands raised in a gesture of peace. We help, the alien said in halting English. We take you to children. Sarah stared at the alien, hardly daring to believe what she was hearing. Could this be real? Could they trust these aliens? But then she thought of Tommy, of all the missing children. They had to take this chance. All resistance leaders, Sarah said into her radio. Meet me in New York. We're going to get our children back. As the sun began to set on the battle-scarred Earth, humans and rebel aliens began to work together. They had won this battle, but the war wasn't over. The Galactic Council was still out there, and they still had the children. But now, humanity had hope. They had allies. They had a way to reach the stars. Sarah looked up at the alien ship that had offered to help them. Hold on, Tommy, she whispered. We're coming for you. All of us. The first phase of the war was over. Earth was safe, for now. But the biggest challenge still lay ahead. The mission to rescue the children was about to begin, and it would take humanity further than they had ever gone before. As night fell, the battered Earth began to heal. And in secret bases and hidden labs, humans and their new alien allies began to plan their next move. The Galactic Council had started this war by underestimating humanity. Now, they were about to learn just how big a mistake that had been. The battle for Earth was over. The battle for the future of the galaxy was about to begin. Akriladai. The stars stretched out before them, endless and beautiful. Sarah stood on the bridge of the alien ship, her heart racing with a mix of fear and excitement. They were really doing this. They were going to space to save their children. Behind her stood Hiroshi, Adebayo, and other resistance leaders from around the world. With them were their new allies, the rebel aliens who had turned against the Galactic Council. How much longer? Sarah asked one of the alien pilots. The alien, who had introduced itself as Zix, made a clicking sound. Soon, it said in its strange, musical voice, "The children place is near." Sarah nodded, her hand tightening on the alien weapon she carried. She thought of Tommy, wondering if he was scared, if he missed her. "We're coming," she whispered. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the ship. Zix's many eyes widened. "Danger!" it shouted. Galactic Council ships approach. On the main screen, they could see a fleet of massive ships coming towards them. They were unlike anything the humans had seen before, making the ships they had fought on Earth look tiny in comparison. "This is it," Hiroshi said, his voice steady. "The final battle." Adebayo nodded, his face set with determination. "For our children," he said. "For Earth. For justice." The humans and rebel aliens rushed to their positions. This was what they had been preparing for during their long journey through space. As the Galactic Council ships drew closer, a familiar voice boomed out, speaking in all languages at once. "Foolish humans," the voice said, "and traitor aliens. You dare to challenge us here, in the heart of our power. Surrender now, or be destroyed." Sarah stepped forward, her voice clear and strong. "We are here for our children," she said. "Return them to us, and we'll leave in peace. Refuse, and we'll show you what humans do when you threaten our families." There was a moment of silence. Then, without warning, the Galactic Council ships opened fire. The battle in space was like nothing the humans had ever experienced. Energy beams crisscrossed the darkness. Explosions bloomed like silent flowers. Their ship dodged and weaved, returning fire with weapons far beyond human understanding. But they were outnumbered and outgunned. Despite the skill of their alien allies and the determination of the humans, they were being pushed back. "We need to get closer," Hiroshi shouted over the noise of the battle. "If we can board their main ship, we might have a chance." It seemed impossible. The Galactic Council's main ship was massive, protected by layers of smaller ships and energy shields. But then, Adebayo spotted something. "There." He pointed at the screen. "That ship's shields are fluctuating. If we time it right, we might be able to slip through." It was a crazy plan, but it was all they had. Sarah gave the order, and their ship dove towards the opening, dodging enemy fire. For a heart-stopping moment, it seemed like they wouldn't make it. Energy beams sizzled past them, close enough to make the ship shudder. But then they were through, flying into a massive docking bay. As soon as they landed, chaos erupted. Galactic Council forces swarmed towards them, but the humans and rebel aliens were ready. They had trained for this, prepared for this moment. Sarah led one team, fighting their way deeper into the ship. Hiroshi took another team to the engine room, hoping to disable the ship from within. Adebayo headed for the control center, aiming to take over the ship's systems. The fighting was intense. The Galactic Council forces had advanced weapons and armor, but the humans had surprise on their side, and a determination that seemed to shock their enemies. As they fought their way forward, Sarah began to notice something strange. Some of the areas they passed through looked like nurseries, playrooms, schools. This wasn't just a warship. This was where the children were being kept. "They're here," she shouted into her communicator. "The children are on this ship." This news gave the humans new energy. They fought harder, pushed further. Nothing was going to stop them from reaching their children. Meanwhile, in the engine room, Hiroshi and his team were facing tough resistance. But they had a secret weapon: Emily's understanding of the living technology. Hiroshi placed his hand on a pulsing wall, just like Emily had taught him. "Please," he said, "help us. The children don't belong here. Help us take them home." For a moment, nothing happened. Then the ship shuddered. Lights flickered. The living technology was responding. In the control center, Adebayo and his team were fighting a desperate battle. They were outnumbered, outgunned, but they refused to give up. Just when it seemed like they might be overwhelmed, the ship's systems suddenly came to life. Screens lit up, doors opened and closed. The ship, one of Adebayo's team members said in awe, "It's helping us." With the living technology on their side, the tide of the battle began to turn. Humans and rebel aliens pushed forward, driving back the Galactic Council forces. Sarah and her team finally broke through to a large central chamber. And there, in stasis pods lining the walls, were the children. Thousands upon thousands of them, from Earth and 100 other worlds. "Tommy," Sarah cried, rushing to one of the pods. Her son floated inside, peaceful, unchanged. With shaking hands, she began to work on opening the pod. All around the chamber, similar scenes played out. Humans and rebel aliens carefully opening pods, gently waking children who had been asleep for over a year. But their victory wasn't complete yet. In a flash of light, a figure appeared in the center of the room. It was huge, glowing with power, the leader of the Galactic Council. "Enough," it roared, its voice shaking the very walls. "You may have turned our technology against us. You may have fought your way here, but this ends now." The alien leader raised its hands, energy crackling around them. But before it could strike, a small voice spoke up. "No." Everyone turned. There, standing in front of Sarah, was Tommy. He looked at the alien leader without fear, his young face serious. "No more fighting," Tommy said. "No more taking kids. It's wrong." Other children joined him, forming a line between the humans and the alien leader. Children of 100 different species, all united. The alien leader hesitated, its glow dimming slightly. "You don't understand," it said, its voice softer now. "We did this to protect the galaxy, to shape its future. By stealing its children." Sarah asked, stepping up beside Tommy. "That's not protection. That's not shaping the future. It's destroying it." Slowly, the alien leader lowered its hands. It looked at the children, really looked at them, perhaps for the first time. We thought we were doing the right thing," it said. "The right thing," Adebayo said, entering the chamber with his team, "is to let people choose their own future, to let children grow up with their families on their homeworlds." "Your way didn't work," Hiroshi added, joining them. "But it's not too late to change, to do better." For a long moment, the alien leader was silent. Then, slowly, it nodded. Perhaps we were wrong," it said. "Perhaps there is much we could learn from you humans, and from the children we sought to shape." And just like that, the war was over. Not with a final battle, but with understanding. With children teaching adults a lesson about right and wrong. In the days that followed, there was much to do. Children had to be returned to their homeworlds. The Galactic Council had to be reformed, with input from all species, not just the powerful few. Earth had to prepare for its new role as part of a larger galactic community. But for now, in that moment, none of that mattered. Sarah hugged Tommy close, tears streaming down her face. All around them, similar reunions were taking place, parents and children, together again at last. As their ship began the long journey back to Earth, carrying the human children home, Sarah looked out at the stars. They didn't seem cold and distant anymore. They were full of life, full of possibilities. The Galactic Council had wanted to end humanity's story. Instead, they had given humanity a new beginning. A chance to reach for the stars, not as conquerors, but as teachers, as protectors, as the species that reminded the galaxy of the power of love, of family, of doing what's right no matter the odds. The war was over. The children were safe, and humanity's greatest adventure was just beginning. As Earth came into view, a beautiful blue marble in the darkness of space, Sarah hugged Tommy close. "We're home," she said, "and we have so much to tell everyone." Tommy nodded, his eyes wide with excitement. "Can we go back to space someday?" he asked. Sarah laughed, ruffling his hair. "Someday," she said. "But first, we have a lot of work to do on Earth. We're part of a bigger universe now. We need to be ready." As their ship descended towards Earth, cheers erupted from every continent. The children were home. The war was won, and humanity had proven that even in the darkest times, hope, love, and determination could overcome any obstacle. The story of the stolen children would be told for generations, but it wouldn't be a story of loss and pain. It would be a story of courage, of unity, of the day humanity reached the stars and changed the galaxy forever. The end of one chapter. The beginning of a new era.